Blood and Bloody Ashes. This is Kevin Wolf with Reading Rainstorm, and we're doing a Wheel of Time. What a great time to be alive, indeed. I am currently reading through the series as we speak. I'm on book 5 with my good friend Tim Sanders, and we have decided to do a quick 20-minute episode on the Wheel of Time as it comes out on Amazon Prime to do some, concepts, what's different, what's changed, what we like, what we don't like, and just an all-around review of the show versus the book. We really fell in love with it. It's a slow burn, but really gets intricate and into the characters, and it's been one of my favorite series to read. I haven't read Game of Thrones, watched the whole show, though. I haven't read the book. That's, I guess, the biggest, easiest comparison that I can relate this series to. This series did come before Game of Thrones, and I believe J.R.R. Martin can say that a lot of his inspiration, or some of his inspiration, definitely came from this series of books. In the meantime, let's get Tim on the phone and get into As the Wheel Wills.
Hello?
What's up, buddy?
You're not Ashley.
No, I am not Ashley. I am Kevin Wolf calling on Ashley's phone. Funny.
Threw me off a little bit.
What's that?
It threw me off a little bit.
Oh yeah, it's funny the way the studio works. I need a camera to record myself and another camera or another phone to call you. So quickly had to ask her to borrow her phone.
Okay.
So welcome to the show, As the Wheel Wills, for the Reading Rainstorm.
Oh, it's good to be on.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about episode 1 of Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime. I didn't realize that they did a Reading Rainstorm special and dropped 3 episodes at once, with new episodes coming out each Friday. So look forward to hearing more about us and this show as it comes out on Friday, as we also try to catch up throughout the week. So episode 1, Tim, what do you remember? Because I believe you said you've watched all 3 of them already.
Correct. And actually the 4th one is out right now, too.
Yep.
I have not seen it yet, though.
Okay, so episode 1 ends with Moraine taking away the 3, in the show, the 4 Tel'Viren. So I guess we can talk about the beginning until that point.
Right on. So, first off, they actually are doing a really good job of the cinematography for Two Rivers. It's exactly how I pictured Two Rivers looking in my mind.
100% agree. I was actually going to say the same thing. So since we're on the topic of cinematography, I think the 3 closest things that we can relate this movie to, or this show to, is Game of Thrones, The Witcher, and Avatar: The Last Airbender. And I think it falls in between Game of Thrones and The Witcher. The reason why I brought in Avatar: The Last Airbender is because the weaving of the power is equated to earth, wind, fire, water, as how they can weave those strands of elements together. And if Avatar: The Last Airbender does make its new series, they should take note as to how they do it in this show, because it is pretty epic.
I was going to say, because even when Moraine was battling, I didn't put the 2 and 2 together until you just said something right there. But when Moraine was battling the Trollocs, when the Trollocs attacked Two Rivers, she was absolutely doing some Avatar moves, to weave them all together.
Oh my God. It was, so I was running actually while she was doing that. And I was on mile 2, and the Trolloc fight in the Two Rivers was happening. And she says something like, let the light save us, or light help me. And I'm like, oh my God, yes. And I started sprinting up until the point where she ripped apart that building and destroyed all the Trollocs. And I got to mile 3, put my hands in the air, and the building collapsed. It was pretty epic.
Well, now everybody here knows how fast you can run a mile.
So I guess, so you already said that you said the cinematography is pretty good. So what do you think of the show from episode 1?
I'm not in love with the casting. For example, and this is just because Perrin's my favorite character in the book, so I'm going to pick on him the hardest. He doesn't look like a blacksmith to me. Perrin's often described as being as wide as he is tall. And this Perrin definitely looks like he can run a 6-minute mile as opposed to lift a heavy anvil over and over again.
Yeah,
You
you kind
know,
of expected somebody like I don't know his name, but like Drax from um
yeah,
like
yeah,
a
I absolutely
bodybuilder.
wouldn't want to see Dave Bautista play him, but
No, that would be a little bit too far out there. But like someone with like a nice rounded bicep, someone who's been swinging a hammer for most of his life.
right, somebody that has a little bit of heft to him also. Like he doesn't have to be the stick thin guy like the other guys are, but like somebody that can actually pick up and go.
Mm-hmm.
At first, the diversity of the cast threw me for a loop, especially since in the books, Two Rivers is supposed to be this almost secluded little town where people could tell, oh, you're a Two Rivers person just by looking at you. I don't have a problem with it. It was just something that changed in my mind. I pictured everybody from Two Rivers looking pretty similar, and that's one of the reasons that like Rand stood out so much with his, with his red hair and looking downright Irish.
Well, to be honest though, like I would actually fight the other side. If you look at Nynaeve, Egwene, Perrin, and Matt, they all have darkish skin, and like black, almost curly hair. So I would say, and Rand, I was actually going to point out, he's the only one who looks like almost royalty, because everyone else in the city is kind of dirty and grungy a little bit. But then you got Rand, who almost looks like a pretty boy, kind of like Jaime Lannister. And I'm gonna keep these comparisons going to Game of Thrones a little bit, even so that Tam Althor, he is Rose Bolton from Game of Thrones. I had to assume that there's going to be some overlay in casting.
I mean, it only makes sense, to be honest.
Yeah, no kidding.
But yeah, I guess I didn't realize that. I was looking at the three in general. So you're looking at Matt, Rand, and Perrin. And Matt's pretty typical, like English looking,
Yep.
Rand kind of has that Irish tint to him.
Yeah, he's got the red hair. The eel look.
Right. So then there's only Perrin that looks a little different. But Perrin's actually exactly how I pictured Two Rivers folks looking in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like I said, is one of the reasons that Rand stood out as much. So when there is as much of a difference in Two Rivers, it threw me for a little bit of a loop. Sure. But I don't hate it.
Yeah. So for casting wise, I really like Matt. I think Matt was spot on. I agree with you.
Unfortunately, he's replaced for season 2.
Oh no! Why?
He didn't get along with the other castmates while filming season 1. So they replaced him, and he's completely recasted.
Well, that's all right. I mean, it is what it is. It happens in TV shows all the time. Movies, contracts, money, you'll have it. So as long as the story continues and it stays true to the book, that's truly what we care about. But as of right now, I do enjoy the casting for Matt, as he is my favorite character in the book. This far, I should say. So, okay, aside from casting, though, we already talked a little bit about cinematography. So the Trollocs, though, when they first made their appearance, I'm not gonna lie, I had the volume up and I was listening to it on my headphones. And when they first came in and like did his little Trolloc roar before slicing up people, scared the shit out of me.
I thought the Trollocs looked absolutely amazing.
100%
absolutely amazing.
100% agree.
If they don't do anything else right with the show, they did the Trollocs right, and that's good with me.
What do you think of so Trollocs, and what do you think of the weaving of the power with Moiraine? I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was good.
While I was watching it, I wasn't a fan. Mm-hmm. However, the more like I've gone away from that one episode, the more I really actually do like it. So it's just not what it pictured in my head.
Well, in my head, I just pictured like as anyone else looking at them, you can't see anything. Like it just kind of happens, and like buildings collapse.
And so like she's also doing a lot more like movement, I guess, than in my head I picture.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
She's
yeah,
more
yeah.
doing more of like a dance and whatnot as she's weaving.
Yep, absolutely agree. Um,
But I don't hate it, especially after you've drawn the parallels to Avatar: The Last Airbender.
mhm.
I, I actually kind of like it now that that thought's in my head.
Sure, sure, yeah, yeah. I mean, they had to do something, right? It's for a show, so they had to make it more showy. So doing these
Right.
poses and these correct hand movements in order to weave the power as they wanted to, and before unleashing it. So yeah, it makes sense. But I guess yeah, when I was reading through it, in my mind, it was just kind of like more of a concentrated look, maybe with their hands more stoic and more
Yeah.
concentrating on making the power or the weaves and the pattern move as they want it to, but more like a mind control type thing.
Yeah, I definitely think it pictured it like traditional magic, I guess.
Yeah, 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 yeah. All right, so just based off that, love it or hate it, or somewhere in between.
So far, I'm somewhere in between. I don't love it. I don't hate it. Um, One of the biggest things that they did different in the book that I did not like was so they aged up all the characters, which I can deal with. Um, and with that, they made Perrin married, which makes sense in a sense that he's a fully grown up adult. He's the only one out of the three with a stable job. It makes sense that one out of the three would be married.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into it. The differences between the book and the show. So let's start with the parent and the marriage. Also threw me through a loop. Like, what in the hell? And I was like, if they're gonna continue true to the series, I already knew before finishing that episode that she was going to die. I thought it was going to be by Trollocs, but I completely understand the reason they did it.
Yeah, and like the rationale and making, in the books, Matt hates his axe. He hates fighting because he becomes this like animalistic.
Yeah.
I think he calls himself Young Bull or something to that effect
No,
in the
the
book.
wolves call him that.
Yeah, I mean, so like he's perfect. Yeah, he attacks like a bull and like he lets his mind loose, like, and he becomes very animalistic.
Yeah, his half moon axe. Boom, boom. Like you nailed it on the head, and that's exactly right. So this was their quick way interpretation to show that anger that he has towards his axe. In the book, it was first brought upon when he murdered a couple white cloaks, and then it didn't really make him feel great, and then that's where it kind of started in the book. In this one, episode 1, immediately, the reason why he hates his axe is because he killed his own wife. Who did you get the sense that she was pregnant?
I I sensed something was up between them.
Yeah,
I could absolutely see them doing that. She was pregnant, especially with the way that they had him attack the belly of his wife.
yeah, yeah, yeah. When we first get introduced to her, he wraps his hands around her stomach, and then as she's passing away, camera shot to her hands on her stomach again. Never saying that she's pregnant, but I mean, come on, I have a feeling she was pregnant.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest difference in the book. They also made Matt's parents a little different.
Right.
I don't remember his mom's name right now, but Abel Cawthon. Um, they made him a little bit different. He made him the wife or the mother a drunk, um, and his dad kind of like a womanizer.
Which is, I mean, that's Matt's stick, but I mean, his dad kind of holds his own, a little bit later in the series. So,
Yeah, so I'm interested to see how they're going to do that part.
yeah.
But at the same time, were those his daughters or were those supposed to be his sisters?
His sisters. Matt has 2 sisters.
Okay, because I definitely got the two girls in the show were his daughters and not his sister.
It felt that way because he was the parent in this whole family ordeal. I feel like that's what they were trying to make him out to be, like he's the one buying them gifts and making sure they're having a good time and that they're safe. And while his mom is obsessed over his dad's issues. That's the feeling
Okay.
I got as well.
Okay, yeah, definitely. And I was like, are they trying to make Matt a single dad?
Oh, I
Which would be completely changed from character in the books. But if it's his
100%.
sisters, I can live with
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so that was a big difference was Perrin and his backstory. Matt, I feel like his stayed pretty true. Um, let's talk about Land and Egwene, or not Land, sorry, Rand and Egwene. Um, the scene where they don't show it, but they obviously spent the night together. I don't think that ever happens in the book. Like, I don't think they ever spend the night with each other. I'm pretty sure. Like, I feel like that was
I
their quick way to say, hey, these two love each other and are supposed to be together, but because of her choices, she's not going to end up with him. And they kind of expedited that, like showing that love interest immediately versus having it build and then kind of in the end break off. But I don't think they ever hooked up.
not that I remember.
So that was another quick way to expedite that storyline between those two, I believe. Not love or hate, but just differences.
Right. Overall, there weren't that many differences that I can think of, like in this first episode.
No, and I'm kind of excited because it feels like they're gonna do this for 13 seasons, i.e., the 13 books. If they keep going like this slow and at this pace, getting into it, and I really, really hope that's what they do. That they don't try to fit like two books into one season. But I don't know. I'm only on book 5, so maybe some books get a little boring and they try to smush them together.
Oh yeah, we'll have to see. I know that Brandon Sanderson is helping out write the story, and
Well, as he
I've
should,
liked
he
everything that
finished
he's
off of
written.
the series.
Right, and so I've liked everything that he's written,
Yeah.
and so I'm going to put my faith in Brandon. Um,
Oh yeah, Brandon Sanderson's like definitely one of my top authors right now to
I
read.
just realized I just called him by his first name, and we're probably not on that level. So if he's listening, if Brandon Sanderson listens, and you're cool with that, I'll
Yeah,
just
yeah,
keep
yeah,
calling him Brandon.
yeah, 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 yeah. Oh my gosh. Pot on Thane. What'd you think? I loved his character. That greasy salesman, the darkest of dark friends, or soon to be.
It's
I've enjoyed, like, even though he was only in for a little bit, I enjoyed his character and his
yeah,
casting.
yeah, it was pretty spot on to what I pictured him in my head.
Yeah, that greasy smile. Mm. So, I mean, other than that, I love I like the casting for Moraine. The Red Sisters are evil as all hell. Showed that right away. And other than, yeah, you're right. You did hit on this as well. The age differences. Nynaeve they pegged as 26, with probably Rand and Matt Perrin, but 5 years maybe behind her.
Yeah, I was
So
thinking
21.
21,
Yeah,
2021.
I definitely agree.
Which is also why which is also why Rand and Egwene have a more physical relationship than they did in the books.
Right. Yep. I
Because
can
in the
see
books
that.
they're like what, 14?
Yeah, that's the one I pictured them, 14, 15. And then over the years, they grow up into the 20s. But yeah, yeah, yeah. I think they were definitely that young. But I'm excited. I'm excited to
So
continue on. Again, I didn't realize that they dropped 3 episodes immediately, with the 4th episode out already. So we're going to try to catch up, or I'm going to try to catch up. And as I do, we'll do these podcasts and these back and forth on the show versus the book, and continue on as we watch through the series with these episodes coming out every Friday since. Hence.
I'm excited to see how the wheel wills.
Yes, as the wheel wills. So with that, we're going to end this show. Hope you guys enjoyed it as me and Tim talk through the Wheel of Time. Catch us next time on the next episode. We'll let you know when it comes out. And then when we catch up to the series, we will do these every single Friday as the show comes out. We appreciate you guys stepping out with us. And if you want to see more of what we do, head over to our website, readingrainstorm.com, and you can get to all our social media links from there and check out all the podcasts and blogs that we put on our website. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us, and we'll see you on the next episode. of As the Wheel Wills.